So set here at Bruce Purser Reserve for round 6 of the AFL Sydney competition. It's the Sydney Hills Eagles up against the University of New South Wales Eastern Suburbs Bulldogs. And joining me up here in the commentary position, Drury Forbes. Just underway now, but how do you see this one panning out, Drury?
Yeah, thanks, Craig. Great to be here this afternoon at Bruce Purser. Look, I expect a close contest today. Both sides hungry, and I think it's a good opportunity for University of New South Wales East Sydney to show their credentials for 2013.
Of course, the Eagles yet to post a score in the win column of the ladder, so they'll be hungry for the win. But yeah, as you said, the Bulldogs more experienced, probably the bigger bodies. It's a very young Eagles side in their Premier Division. We just saw the NEFL game being played, and the Eagles going down to Belconnen in that game as well. So it's been a tough day so far here at Bruce Purser Reserve, but the Eagles are on the charge now, and that's a good mark there taken by Battistella for the Eagles. He'll go back and have a shot on goal to open it up.
Probably worth mentioning, Craig, the wind is favouring the Bulldogs quite substantially in this first quarter, so Battistella kicking straight into the breeze here.
Battistella, long measured run up. Be a good start if you can get this one on the board. The kick comes off a little wobbly off the boot. Has it got the legs? It has, and they've got the first on the board, the Eagles, and they'd be very happy with that start. Battistella gets the first goal for the Eagles.
Yeah, great start for the Eagles there. It'll be interesting to see how Battistella goes today, just crumbing around. I'm sure there'll be a lot of attention on his teammate Seabeck. So Battistella doing his job there and creating space, and he'll be sure to get a few opportunities today in that forward 50 for the Eagles.
Yeah. You mentioned Seabeck lining up at full forward for the Sydney Hills Eagles. It's the chairman of the club. I suppose you get to pick your position when you're the chairman. So back in the middle. This one to the advantage of the Bulldogs. They push forward. Plenty of numbers around the ball. In there is Kafalis, as he always is. And umpire's found a throw here. It'll go to the Eagles. Loxton with the ball. Coming across. Eagles on the attack. This one chopped off. Good work there by Plant. And he's found Keel, Jeremy Keel, the two brothers playing today. Plays on, no options around the ball, has to go with the long handball, does so. Now back in the hands of Rodriguez. He goes back, Keel finds it again. And they're just moving the ball nicely. You've got plenty of options at the moment, and eventually lands in the hands of Ed Keel up there in the forward line. Too far out to score, you'd think. Puts it to the spot. Numbers around this. Eagles at the defensive side. Physic just fumbles the ball, but lays the tackle well. Now under pressure was Rawlinson. He goes backwards, finds Mason. They try to put this forward, and taken out over the line, and will be a boundary throw in.
Yeah, good effort there from the Bulldogs. They've slowly marched themselves right on goal since that Sneddon mistake, and let's see if they can convert with some scoreboard pressure here.
A boundary throw in. Eagles just need to get this out of the defensive zone. Tapped down nicely there by Rawlinson, I think it was. No, Mason. But the minus score. And they get their first score of the evening, the Bulldogs.
Just so important today, Craig, that the Bulldogs do convert some early opportunities. We mentioned they haven't had some great success so far this year, probably down on confidence. They need some early goals, particularly against this Eagles side. Mark
taken by Collett. Beyond the edge of his scoring distance, you'd think. Plenty of presents. Wants to go long. Can he get the accuracy? Does it come back on the breeze? No. Starts out left, stays out left. Now the minus score for the Bulldogs. The margin 4 points.
And I'll just add to that, Craig, particularly with this breeze as well. It's probably a 1 to 2 goal breeze in the favour of the Bulldogs. So very important they get off to a good start with the breeze here.
Set up well here, the Bulldogs. Eagles go short. They find their Arndt. Cameron Arndt. Like to go wide. Physic. Extends the reach. Pulls the ball in. Plenty of presence up the front wall, but he doesn't find it. Seebeck on a long lead. He's going to get lost this far out from goal. Gets it on. Spender, I think, with the handball. And mopped up well by the Bulldogs, although still under pressure. Good pressure here from the Eagles, but Kafalis up to the task. Now with Nichols. He goes short. Finds Soames. Plays on. Nothing on presenting up forward, so has to go backwards. In the arms of McAllister. His chip over the top's a good one. And Mason takes the mark. Now inside 50. Pinpoint accuracy, and he's found Parmenter. And the experience of Josh Parmenter goes back, and he'll have a shot on goal for the Bulldogs.
Brilliant pass, wasn't it? It had to be perfect, didn't it? Because there was Eagles defenders everywhere, but perfect it certainly was.
Certainly that was the case. Parmenter lining up now. Measured approach. On its way. Umpire hasn't moved. Is it online? It certainly is, and he's threaded the needle, and the Bulldogs get there first on the board.
And take the lead. Well done, and that's just a reward for pressure. As soon as they got those turnovers today so far, the Bulldogs straight to the forward 50, and great start.
It certainly is, Drury. A good start to the Bulldogs. Get their noses in front. So back in the middle. Seebeck in the ruck now. It's good work. Taps it down, and the kick. Oh, it came off Scrubby off the boot. But the end result was good, and it's landed in the arms of Drinkwater. So Aaron Drinkwater will go back. The kick wasn't exactly what was hoped for off the boot. You heard that in the audio. Drinkwater's kick is offline, and it hits the point post, so no score.
Yeah, might just need to take a drink of water there and compose himself, Craig, out on the full. But great tap from Seebeck, and that's what happens when you're the chairman of the club. You can put yourself in the ruck as well.
Exactly. So, the kick inside. Not a lot of offer for the Bulldogs. Comes down. There, Joel Robbie now with Seebeck. Couldn't find the handle the first time. Finally gets it onto the hands. Not through. Loxton's wrapped up in a good tackle from Rodriguez. And the umpire will ball it up. So, bounce will come. Taps back to the advantage. Now it's in the hands of Fitton. He goes back on the left boot. Drives them inside 50. No one home for the Eagles. And good mark by Pascoe. And they switch. Wanting to move the ball quickly with Keel. Plenty streaming to this side of the ground as we speak. Now it's with Henderson. Could have been a 50-metre. Umpire says no. Henderson looking now. The Eagles have manned up well here. The big switch was on, and they ran with them. Oh, good grab there from Mason. He's proven to be a handful early in this game. And the kick's a good one as well. Kafalis just leans back on it. Plenty of experience there. And inside they go, and it was just good ball movement by the Bulldogs.
Yeah, nice work for the Bulldogs there. Showed a lot of patience and poise, but wait for the right opportunity. And we've got another chance here to extend their lead.
Parmenter again it is to have the shot. We saw him thread the needle in his last kick on goal. Can he do the same now? It's all in front of him.
Looks good, Craig.
Looks good off the boot. Has it got the legs? It has. Another goal on the board of the Bulldogs.
Yeah, exactly the start the Bulldogs needed, as we mentioned, Craig. They're applying themselves and making a statement early to this Eagles side, who is in good form. So a great start for Bulldogs, exactly what the doctor ordered.
Back in the middle. Seebeck up against Mason. It comes down to the Bulldogs. Bulldogs comes through. Keel on the run, just gets rid of his opponent and it lands in his lap. And the kick across is another good one, finds his brother in Ed Keel. Wants to move the ball quickly. Does so now. And just sprays the kick. And a minus score for the Bulldogs.
Seeing a lot of clean wins in the centre, Craig, as well. Whoever's winning that tap seems to be getting it into their forward 50 with some ease. So perhaps there's a lot more emphasis today on those centre clearances.
Ball now to come out. And does so. Now the big men, Mason and Seebeck, go at it. Physic might have been held high and is. Free kick to the Eagles.
Great mark there from Battistella. And good pressure from the Bulldogs there to force the boundary throw-in.
Yeah, they've done well here. As you said, Drury, it's a good start from the Bulldogs. They'll want to be getting on top early. This is the home of the Sydney Hills Eagles here at Bruce Purser Reserve, and they don't want to give them any chances early in this game. Good attack there on the ball from Stubbs, but it comes away again to the Bulldogs. It could have been held high. Man down in the back of play, and Frank Palazic says no. Incidental contact, and the mark is, I think is that Mason? The big fella up forward, it is.
It's against Wharton, I think. He just tried to milk it there, taking his opponent out, and Bulldogs get the free kick.
So Mason, the big fella, leans back on the kick. Leans back a little bit too far, just sprays it to the right. Another minus score, they go to 2-4. Bulldogs setting up a zone defence here on the kick-outs. Trying to dry up the options for the Eagles. They go long. It's a good kick and a good mark. Taken by Davis, Mitchell Davis for the Eagles. As we said, a very young side. Battistella takes the mark now. Hands on. They move the ball through hands. The kick now from Drinkwater goes forward. Good spoil by the Bulldogs. It's now in the hands of Adam Fender, the young fella just out of the 18s last year. His kick offline and cleaned up. And they move it out of the defensive half now, the Bulldogs by hands. Straight through the middle of the ground. Kicks offline again, so the Eagles bomb it back inside 50, but there's all Bulldogs here. And the kick out by Pascoe goes wide and finds, see who that was out there. They move it on quickly, the Bulldogs. They've got plenty of options with Troon now. Wants to go inside, finds Plant. Just being very cautious with the ball. Don't want to hand it over. They go wide again. The mark is just off target. In fact, it was touched there, but Troon good enough to move around, get on the right boot and drive it in forward. But just too low for Keel, and the ball trickles over the boundary line.
Yeah, interesting to see the press of the Bulldogs' defence early. McAllister, Henderson and Heath all moving up forward. And looking at the ground now, you've only got one Eagles player north of their forward half. So all the players in the Bulldogs' half at the moment.
The Eagles now wanting to move the ball quickly. Good mark. See the age difference of these Eagles side. They are but young fellows. Battistella hits the ball hard. Might have been taken high. Umpire said he ducked. And move it again. Good work here from the Eagles. Fitting the old head amongst the young boys. They go forward again. That's a good run there. And Stubbs tries to make space. Does well. Gets the second option. Gets it up. Gets it to Regan. He goes backwards again. They've worked this well, the Eagles. This needs to be online. Can it get the bounce? No. And it will be cleaned up, although a fumble there. It's 2-on-1 in favour of the Bulldogs, and they use the numbers to their advantage. The handball over. And the kick is just inside the boundary line, and it's with Parmenter. Parmenter, the goal scorer for the Bulldogs. Wants to move it by hands, does so. Gets the other hands received. Wants to get it again. The old 1-2-1-2. In trouble now. Goes back. Rodriguez by hands. Finds Robbie. They've got numbers now and they drive it long. Falls to the back of the pack. Keel's there to mop up. Goes back to Mason. Mason now across to Keel again of the brother variety. Now it's Jeremy Keel. This is getting very confusing for the commentary team. Hope you're watching this and not only hearing it. Good attack on the football. And coming away is McAllister having to go backwards. They've gone back about 50 metres, 60, 65. They need to turn at some stage. And they do so now and drive it long. Big tall timber there for the Eagles in Alex Snedden. Now with Regan, he's wrapped up by Keel, and the boundary will win out this occasion.
Yeah, good work there from the Bulldogs, and also good defence there from the Eagles. They might be going backwards and attack the Bulldogs, but they're holding the ball and they're controlling the game. They've got plenty of possessions, and the Eagles are just counter-attacking at the moment.
The sun's gone down here at Bruce Purser Reserve, and the chill factor has risen exponentially. Now, Eagles got plenty of numbers around this. The kick just bombing long, and it's a good kick taken in by, I think that's Fender out there. Now they go inside 50, looking for the big man in Seebeck. Puts the big mid out. That's a mark, sir. It is. 2 grabs, 1 hand off, and Seebeck wants to square up. He does so now. Looking there for was Arndt, but the Bulldogs just swoop. And they drive it now. It's inside their 50 and just 2 kicks. Keel causing a lot of troubles down there. Right contest. Kicking in danger there against Fitton. Just tried to toe poke it through. Kafalas now drives it long. The kick just needed to have a look, but not taken in. And a good tackle there applied and dispossessed with Keel. And their tackling so far, Drury, has been fantastic, the Eagles.
It has been fantastic. What I liked about that play, the player there just missing the mark, I think it was Wharton, followed up with the tackle to get his team back the ball and out of trouble. Having said that, Bulldogs got the ball back, but now it's back with the Eagles.
It's been a very to and fro game so far, and playing with the boundary line at the moment. Handball over from Collett. Regan's there for the Eagles. Now Parmenter. And they're away. In they go again, inside 50. Target there was Rawlinson, but a good punch, and the ball goes over the boundary line.
Probably worth mentioning too, this breeze has subsided quite substantially. So probably not much of an advantage as we first thought, maybe just a 1-goal breeze.
The breeze has got at the moment, not much of an advantage, but plenty of chill factor. Starting to drop the temperature at the moment. We see 36, who's not on our team list, even though I've checked it against the submitted team sheet for the Eagles. So whether there was a late change or just something that we weren't told about. In the ruck, Snedden for the Eagles, trying to push them forward, but it falls there to Williamson. His kick off the boot was just hurried, and the minus score. 2-5 now, the Bulldogs. They've had all the play, approaching the 18-minute mark. They want to get more scores on the board, try and open up this lead early in the game. It's been a beautiful day for football today.
Oh, perfect conditions for football, really. I mean, the lights are shining. It's a nice, brisk autumn evening, and the actual field itself, the grass, is looking absolutely fantastic.
Nick Crowe now for the Eagles. Successful under-18 Premier Division captain of last year, but his kick has only found Williamson. Williamson now wants to move it quickly. Kafalas, in fact, no, it's Mason as the target, and he takes a strong mark. Done himself no favours with the angle at the moment. He'll get back there and kick from, he'll be kicking from about 40 metres in. Slightest of angles.
I know it's early, Craig, but this really is a big kick for the Eastern Sydney side, the Bulldogs.
Need to get this one through. Mason's kick looks good off the boot. Sailed through the middle, and they've got the goal. And that's what they needed.
Yeah, great start for the Bulldogs, Craig. That's exactly what we spoke about. They've now got 3 goals on the board, although The scoreboard's not reflecting that. There does seem to be an issue with the scoreboard at the moment.
Yep.
But no, certainly a great start for the Bulldogs, applying some pressure early on this Eagles outfit.
It's like a full reboot for the big screen here at Bruce Purser Reserve. But the score, as you see on the screen, margin 17 points. It's 3-5 to the Bulldogs. Just that single goal, the first of the game to the Eagles. And just back in the centre now. 19 minutes played. Snetted in the ruck. Big man for the Eagles, but it only goes as far as Kafalis. Kafalis drives him long. Just wrong-footed there was Robbie. And the Eagles take the mark on the 50 arc. The kick's not a good one. It's found Mitch Soames, and he'll go backwards, just wanting to hold onto the football. Kafalis now. His kick's a good one, and he'll get it back. Drives them inside again, now with Parmenter. Some experience in those two. Now they go wide. Nichols, his kick smothered. Keel trying to get to the fall of the ball. Wrapped up now by the Eagles. In there, working hard, was Drinkwater. And playing with the boundary line, and Mason sees it over. So
just can't get their hands on the footy at the moment. The Eagles, they're trying to, and I think they're just probably getting a little frustrated. And the Bulldogs, once again, doing a great job of keeping the ball in their forward 50.
Umpire's seen a free kick here. It'll be a push out against Mason. Snedden will take the kick for the Eagles. Just sort of worked his player under the ball, and the experience of Frank Kolosic. So you can't do that. This is dangerous for the Eagles. Needs to sit. Does so now. Scholes. Right boot down the line. There's good work there to not give up possession by Spencer. Jono Spencer, sort of, the ball sailed over his head, but he was good enough just to stop prop and get his hand into the contest to make sure it wasn't a turnover. And now we can reset for a boundary throw in. Snedden with the height advantage in this contest. Works at it again. Players converge on the footy. Plenty of numbers around here doing the tackling, and there was Rylance for the Eagles. The umpire says, I'll have it. Umpire Sean Street, I just noticed here, a former player with the Balcombe Hills Footy Club, and coached Division 3, I think, here at the Eagles a number of years ago as well. So good to see a former footballer playing umpiring in the Premier Division ranks. Parmenter trying to do things special with it, but the boundary line was his worst opponent.
He's been so dangerous down the boundary line today, Parmenter, attracting 3 or 4 defenders on quite a few occasions, and if he can get the ball away, that's what creates space and opportunity for his teammates.
What worries me here, Drew, is he's standing there on his own. He'll get this football. And there it is.
Oh, super coach Abercrombie there.
Well, didn't take much. Parmenter's a very good footballer, and he was just lurking on his own. Now Keel, talking of good footballers, drives forward. Mason, the target, just couldn't get the legs into pumping. Now Scholes works his player under the ball. The handball back. Through now, Wharton. And kicks to the 1-on-2. Oh, made that look harder than it needed to be, did Smith Soames, but good for TV. Goes inside. The kick, not as good for TV. Spencer to Fitton. Turns the other way. Wants to get back on the right boot. He's found a player on his own here. It's Trent Baker. Spotting the mop top hairdo at the moment. Been one for a bit of fashion over the years. Beard on, beard off. Now the Bulldogs. Rawlinson. Here's kick over. They've just got the run. Kafalis, not another player you don't want to let run free here. Knocked forward. They've got plenty. There's Kafalis again. Can he work this one back? He can. And he liked it off the boot. And it's a goal to Peter Kafalis. And another one on the board for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, just want to make mention to Bulldogs defender Hayden Nichols there. He had about 4 Eagles on him coming out of his 50. Played on, backed himself, got the ball, quick rebound back to his teammates, and that set up the goal for Kafalis in the end.
Margin 23 points now. It's 1 goal straight to 4-5. The scoreboard here at the ground has got itself back in working order.
Can you remember seeing the Bulldogs play on this consistently in a game, Craig. They seem to be doing it a lot today. Maybe something they spoke about.
Yeah, well, as you said, they've probably not had the start that they wanted to. They've dropped 2 games in the first 6, and they look good so far. Baker out of the middle. The Eagles are winning the ruck contest at the moment. Spencer now back on the football. Wants to stop prop, go the other way. Gets the handball out, goes to Seebeck. Seebeck with the quick hands into the square, but no one home for the Eagles. They'll rush it through for a behind. Was he under pressure? The umpire says yes. So right on the siren. A minor score to the Eagles reduces the margin to 22 points. But for the first score of the quarter and the final score of the quarter, it was all Bulldogs. And they go into the first break here at Bruce Purser Reserve. 22-point leaders. They are 4-5-29. The Eagles 1-1-7. And Drury, how did you see that quarter plan out?
Well, I think to the Bulldogs' credit, they just didn't give the Eagles as many opportunity as the home side would have liked. I think the Bulldogs did a great job of playing on and just keeping their hands on the footy. Even if they were losing ground, they showed a lot of patience and poise and waited for the right opportunities. As for the Eagles, I think they just need to keep their heads up. The opportunities will come, and I think they just need to, forget about the scoreboard for now. And just stick to their game plan. There's still plenty of footy to be played.
Margin 22 points here at Bruce Purser Reserve. We played one quarter. Join us back here in a few moments' time for all the action from the second quarter of the AFL Sydney Match of the Week. Can you take the other one for Bill Conham as well? Oh, there's a cap for that one as well. Thanks, guys. Cheers. As we get set for the second quarter here at Bruce Purser Reserve, the margin's 22 points. The Neefle game preceding this game ran a little over with an injury to one of the Eagles players in the final quarter, so there was a little bit of time taken, so we didn't have much time before the game, jury, to really have a look at this, but as we just had a few moments off air there, the Bulldogs have been travelling okay this season so far, and only dropped the one game, sitting third on the ladder, so we probably did them an injustice a couple of times talking about their start to the season. And they'll be keen to once again get themselves onto a premiership flag in 2013 as they did in 2012.
Yeah, we probably did do them a little bit of an injustice there, Craig. They've actually beaten the Eagles the last two times these sides have met, and the Eagles themselves are actually 0-3 here at Bruce Purser this year, with their smallest margin being 73 points in defeat. Having said that, still plenty of football to be played this afternoon. Just look at the body language of the two sides there in the huddle at quarter time. I was a little concerned that the Eagles seemed to have their heads dropped a little bit, in complete contrast to the Bulldogs camp. So hopefully the Eagles can keep their heads up. 3 quarters to play here this evening.
Set for the second quarter here at Bruce Purser Reserve. A free kick straight out of the middle goes to the Bulldogs, and not the start that you want, especially with the to see what it was, whether it was numbers or, I mean, you shouldn't have too many numbers in the contest at the first ruck contest of the quarter. Ball comes in and hits the post, so a minus score is the result. Didn't see what that free kick was for. They come out looking for Seebeck. Seebeck just puts the big mid up, only needs one hand and brings that in. So lining up here was Widmer. Let's the immovable force and the irresistible object. I think I got that round the wrong way there, jury, but we'll go with it. Pascoe with the ball for the Bulldogs. Goes down the line. Umpire says play on. Oh, didn't pick up on that was Davis, who's standing next to him, could have laid the tackle, and Physic takes the mark. Last line of defence for the Eagles. Wants to move it quickly to Baker, but chopped off. Kafalis read that well, and he will go back and have a shot on goal.
Yep, this is certainly not the start the Eagles wanted, and an opportunity here for the Bulldogs to get the first goal of the second quarter.
Kicked one in the first, did Peter Kafalis. As we said, a seasoned performer for the Bulldogs. Nice measured approach. The kick may not have the legs, just on the line as a touch. The umpire says yes. Scholes it was with the big mitt. So another minus score. They go to 4-7. So not converting their opportunities at the moment of the Bulldogs. Big task there set for, sorry, it wasn't Snedden, it was, well, this is 36. Don't know who's wearing 36. Not listed on our team sheet, not listed on the official team sheet given to us. So not good enough by the Eagles. Across they go again. Plant. They've done this well tonight, the Bulldogs, just moving the ball backwards to try and make some space. Now they've got the run with Heath. His handball over, chopped off by the Eagles. Fitton gets that little toe poke in, gets up, trying to be inventive, and Fitton goes again. Tackled as he got the ball up. Falls to there and goes in again. They've worked this well, the Eagles. Numbers probably in favour of the Bulldogs around the ball, but they're able to wrap it up and have a ball up in centre wing. The big fella Widmer brings that down easily, going up against Truen for the Eagles. Another ball up.
Yeah, unfortunately that breeze advantage we thought the Eagles might get in this quarter, not to be. The breeze just seems to have completely dropped off.
Go ahead again, the Bulldogs looking for Keel. Falls out the back. Just puts it top of the square. Puts every opportunity now for Mason. Couldn't bring it down. Good work by Scholes there to drop that ball to the deck. Now they pile on. They'll have no opportunity but to throw this in the air. It's good work by Matthew Scholes. Certainly giving away a few kilos to his opponent. In fact, he's got the free kick here for holding the ball. So a very good effort there from Scholes. Now kicks out looking for Seebeck. This time goes with two hands. Probably should have just gone with the one. And at the back of the pack, plenty of movement for the Bulldogs, but wrapped up there good by the Eagles. Battistella to Crow. Feel like I'm calling the 2012 Under-18s Grand Final again. Now Snedden. It's a good mark there taken by Snedden, so he should go back and relax and kick this through for the Eagles. So they've worked it well.
Yeah, and they definitely need to get Battistella involved as much as possible. He's been one of the few shining lights early for the Eagles thus far.
He's a real live wire, Josh Battistella. Now Alex Snedden. Interesting ball drop. Kick doesn't look too bad though. It's gone straight over the umpire's hat, and they've got another on the board, the Eagles. So not the start the Bulldogs would have been looking for. The Eagles get the first of the quarter again.
Yeah, great work there from the Eagles, and a good response here in the second quarter. Something for them to salvage and hopefully give them a bit of confidence that there's still a lot of football to be played.
Go back to that contest in the middle of the ground from Ryan Fitton. He just backed up his little toe poke and made sure he kept the ball going forward, which is what allowed the Eagles to get the ball into their forward 50, and a good kick there by Alex Snedden. So a big man who can kick straight. Very rare commodities. In the centre, Seebeck will be going up against Mason. Mason wants to get the ball, but Seebeck gets plenty of fist onto this one, pushes it forward. No Eagles there, unfortunately. Good tackle by Fitton. Goes forward again now. Battistella and Seebeck over this ball. Kafalis there. He's wrapped up by Fitton in a good tackle. This is going nowhere. So plenty of intensity around the football, Drury.
And that's what they need. A few tackles is exactly what the Eagles need at the moment. Time to assert themselves physically.
Seebeck. Mason tried to push his way in. Now in there is Drinkwater. He's been good so far for the Eagles. This time wrapped up. And the umpire says, no, you've got to go behind your mark.
Well, they were away then, the Bulldogs.
It's a good tackle by Keel. Puts the ball on top. Not a good kick, and then he gave it too much height. Although very good work there by Foot. And he's done well. Now he has a bounce on the run. Puts it over. Looking for some run. The handball just didn't hit its target. But they've been good enough through Collett to keep the ball pushing forward, and a good mark taken. And another scoring opportunity for the Bulldogs.
If you just even have a look at the field now, Craig, you can see just a line of Bulldogs defenders just coming across the ground. As you see a kick in the centre there.
Plenty of height there. And falling on the bottom of the pack there. Having a shot on goal was Troon, but it's all Eagles at home.
And now the Bulldogs have an opportunity to cut it off because they've got so many players up in the face of the Eagles already.
This is where the Eagles need to just tread water. Stubbs it is with the ball. Goes to a contest. Oh, good mark taken by Regan. Probably the smallest on the ground, but stood tall there. Drives them forward, looking for Snedden again. Battistella lurking, but back onto it is Nichols. Turns one way, wants to get back onto the right, does so. The kick puts his players under pressure, but they're good enough. And they get the clearance kick coming down the line, looking for Rodriguez. Rodriguez goes inside. Good movement now from the Bulldogs. They've got numbers. Turning on it now was Rawlinson out in front, and that's a great kick. Saw that Parmenter had the shot, had the about 20 metres on his player, and he wants to go short now. Interesting kick, and it's a good one. And he found it was McCannaspy. I knew I was going to struggle with that one the first time. And McCannaspy kicks the goal. So Jack McCannaspy gets another one on the board. They're first for the quarter, the Bulldogs.
Yeah, slightly unlucky there. Sorry, Craig. Slightly unlucky there, the Eagles. Rodriguez literally just run on the ground to take that mark to set up Rawlinson, which set up the next two kicks for goals. So, look, once again, the Bulldogs, when they get the ball, they're very quick to rebound, and they just seem to have more numbers there at the contest than the Eagles at the moment.
Kinley comes on for the Bulldogs, goes to their forward line. 8 minutes played, second quarter. It's the Bulldogs by 24. And the Eagles got the first of the quarter. They got the first of both quarters. That's their 2 goals. Then they struggle to really put any pressure on. And here they go again, the Bulldogs. Driving inside 50. The kick's a good one. Could have been a free kick against Loxton. It wasn't. They play on. Now back through Collett. Collett throws on the boot. It's a good kick. It's gone through the middle. And Maxi Collett gets another one in quick response. And the Bulldogs start to pile on the points. 30 points the margin now.
Well, once again, the Bulldogs just so quick moving the ball. And I think one of the coaching staff of the Eagles needs to get out to tell their players at the moment just to improve their body language a little bit, because we're not even halfway through the second quarter yet, and there just seems to be a few dropped heads from the Eagles players.
As we said in the call, they're yet to post a win, the Eagles, in Premier Division. A very uncharacteristic loss as well this morning in the under-18s, once again to the Bulldogs. Under-18 side very much been the flagship of this Eagles club for the last couple of years. So it's been a winless outing so far at Bruce Purser Reserve for the Eagles. Rawlinson does very well at the fall of the ball, scrubs it forward. Kefalis leads his man to the play. Now with Robbie, the kick on goal. Does it have the legs? No, it doesn't need to have the legs because Mason's there. And called the play on now. And he swings back on it, and it doesn't matter. It's a goal. So 3 goals in less than 2 minutes to the Bulldogs, and we might be starting to see the way that this game's going to be played out.
Yeah, a lot more intensity from the Bulldogs. Keep your eyes on Richard Troon from the Bulldogs, who's breaking from centre half forward and running into the centre just after the centre bounce and putting on a good distance from his opponent. So they've just got that edge at the moment, the Bulldogs, with an extra player when the ball comes to the ground from the ruck contest.
It's good work in the centre there by Rawlinson, running off the back of the pack. You can just see him there, number 19. Reads the ball well. Battistella needs to be aware of it. He's pushed up into the middle. Sneddon now in the ruck.
They've got to play a lot tighter on Kefalis as well, Craig. I think he's been given too much time to do his thing at the moment.
He'll damage you in the middle, and then he goes forward and rests and kick goals. So certainly a player to watch. Sneddon now gets over the top. Hitting the ball hard was Baker, trying to scrub it forward. In there now was Fender, trying to turn on the ball. Plenty of numbers around this. This is wrapped up. In there also is Wharton, so umpire will have a ball up. Plenty of numbers around this, and they're playing very much a spine setup at the moment. No one wide of the centre square. Straight down the middle. And Rawlinson again gets the big sweeping handball out the back. Pushing forward. Now Regan, he loves to kick a goal, does Regan, but just rushed the kick there. Out of bounds on the full. Drinkwater, I think, that had that shot there and had a little bit more time. Bulldogs out of defence. Goes to a one-on-one. Not a good kick. Tries to take the big fly there with Adam Fender. Just didn't bring the ball down when he came down with it. They push down the sideline now. Sneddon, he's been good so far. Could have been a free kick. Umpire says no. They work the ball well now. They run. And this is where they hurt to the Bulldogs. Just a short kick, and they've had 4 or 5 possessions, and now they're right into attack. Collett, hands off, gives it to Foot. Foot goes wide. Now with Robbie, and he puts it at the top of the square, and physics there. The umpire's seen something, though. It's a free kick. It's going to go to Troon. Let's see what the signal was there. Drury, what was your take on that?
Oh, I think it might have been a bit of holding there. I'm not 100% sure. Certainly the Eagles player's not too happy about it.
Either way, Richard Troon lines up. This to take the margin out beyond 40 points. Kick was an interesting one at that, but it's gone straight through the middle, and they get their 8th. And the margin, 42 points.
He got very close to the man on the mark there, did Richard Troon. But the end result was a goal, and they just seem to have so much pace, the Bulldogs. So much pace, rebounding the ball. I know I keep saying it, Craig, but as soon as they get a turnover, they're all systems go, and they're beating the Eagles for speed at the moment.
Yeah, just the way they move their ball, their transition play is fantastic. Off the half-back line, they had a kick almost next to the point post. I don't think an Eagles player touched it. And we've got another goal on the board.
It looks like Nick Crowe's about to come on here, Craig. Hopefully he can spark something for the Eagles.
In the centre now, Mason and Seabeck. Favours Seabeck, takes the other ruck, has to get the kick, does so. Pushes it forward now. Oh, nice grab there. Fantastic leap from Ryan Plant, and he gets it away. Now Rawlinson, they've built now. The Bulldogs have got their backs up. Keel turns back into trouble, but it's good enough to get through it. Handball's not a good one. Goes to Drinkwater. Can the Eagles relieve a little bit of pressure now? Down the line. Fender was the target, fitting in there, gets the one-handed pick up. Didn't have prior opportunity. The umpire will have a look at this. And call holding the ball. Well, don't know what the...
Yeah, they might stop the game here, Craig. There's a player down in back plates, an Eagles player, and he looks to be quite seriously injured.
Umpires haven't seen it so far. Rodriguez with the ball now. Goes off to Collett. He drives them long. You're right, keep an eye on the injury. He hasn't moved there in back play. Scholes now kicks the ball free, and it goes over the boundary line. Someone needs to get a message to the umpires because the player has not moved.
And it might have been that marking contest you got a little excited about earlier, Craig. He's been down for probably over a minute now.
Well, it's not good work here by the trainers either. Either get the stretcher out there or get him up. If he needs the stretcher, get it out there as quickly as possible, because at the moment the Eagles are one down and not a lot of urgency by the trainers, and you can forgive the umpires, I suppose, for thinking, well, if you're not going to do anything about it, then we're going to play football. Do your assessment either on the stretcher or on the sideline. They go down the line now, the Eagles. They haven't got, as I said, they've got the one player down. You saw it just there in the foreground. Good tackle applied. Good tackle by Mitch Stevens.
Fortunately, the player getting up now, Craig, so he might be okay. And it is...
James Regan.
James Regan. He's about to come off for Alex Snedden, it looks like.
Here's a big for a small.
Oh, here we go. Another small coming now.
Ball forward of 50. Forward of the halfway line for the Eagles. Plenty of numbers. And now they get it inside 50, the Eagles. But they've one down in that forward 50. And as easy as I like there from Pascoe. And now they switch. Not much on offer. Decides to go with hands. Good work there. Turned inside was Plant. Now Widmer goes back to Plant. Now Kafalis, and he's been felled after he's kicked rid of the ball.
Tough
and
call there.
Downfield free kick.
Tough call there against Crowe. I thought that was a great shot.
They do tend to be a little sensitive to those parts of the game sometimes, the umpires.
And Jonathan Spencer, just the player, just to clarify, that came on for Regan there.
Williamson with the ball for the Bulldogs. Keel on the lead now. Goes one way, goes the other. Now he wants to just go laterally. Plenty of numbers out there for the Bulldogs. And not good enough there from Loxton, just trying to do the tunnelling. Had to disguise that a little bit better.
Gee, I thought that was another tough call, Craig.
Yeah, he just didn't have eyes for the football and wanted to take the player out. And we've seen that in the last couple of years. They don't like that, the umpires. Inside 50 now. Seabeck there. Nice relieving mark on the last line of defence. Plays on. Mason just allowed him to go around the mark a little bit, but only goes as far as Soames. Soames now, as they've wanted to do all night, goes back to go forward. Kafalis. Now what's he got on offer? Keel's there. Good punch from behind, and not enough support there from the Eagles. They're having a scramble at the moment. Push it through. Now it's in the hands of Crowe. His kick coming out looking for Spencer, and he finds him. Two players played, as we said, in that under 18 side last year.
There's your number 36 again, Craig.
I'll give a message out there to the runner to find out who that is. Now the Bulldogs, plenty of talk around this. I'll let them explain what's going on. It was McAllister who goes wide. They've gone way, way back, and now they're on the attack. Kafalis, he's been fantastic tonight, racking up the possessions for the Bulldogs as he does so often. Goes inside, finds Plant. Now just touched off the boot, and he gets back in there, does Plant. I want to say Robert, but it's not, it's Ryan. And in again, and Seabeck could have been hands in the back. The umpire said no. Oh, just wanted to get it cleared. In trouble there is one of the Eagles players who's down, copped the full front of Seabeck in the back of the head. But the end result is a goal, and it's a goal to Mason, I think it was.
I think it was Williamson, Craig. Tom Williamson.
I'll go with you there. I was keeping my eye on the player that was down. So Tom Williamson gets his first for the night. And we come back to the middle. Nick Crow not happy about coming off. I don't like that when I see that, Drury. Sometimes the coaching staff have a reason why players come off. It's not all about giving everyone a go.
No comment there, Craig. I'd probably be a bit frustrated as well if I was coming off after a few minutes. I thought he certainly got involved there. Nick Crow put some pressure on Kefalis, which is what they need to do, you know. But as you said, there's probably a legitimate reason for it.
Snedden up against Mason in the middle. Snedden wins this one forward, but it's all Bulldogs there. Collett, Kefalis. It's like a roll call of Warriors for the Bulldogs. Of course, the Bulldogs coming off the 2012 Premiership. We won that so well, and they'll be very happy to see the rise of their players coming out of that.
Here they go again, Craig.
They come wide. Just attack you from all angles, do the Bulldogs. Some loose checking. Now it's in the hands of Joel Robbie. Oh, look at this. They've just got one. Seemed to fall off just at the crucial stages, and now it's in the hands of Jack McKinlay. So I was just saying before, the Bulldogs will be very happy to see the rise of a player of their ranks in Dane Rampy, now playing some very good football for the Sydney Swans after winning the Phelan medal last year. But right now, McKinlay, Jack drives it forward, just offline. Minor score 9-8 now, 62. The margin 49 points, and this is starting to get a little bit ugly for the Eagles.
And looks like Nick Crow might have won the argument there. It looks like he's about to come back on, and the coach is giving him another crack.
So, problem is the players on the far side of the ground. I must admit, on a night like tonight, with the chill factor starting to really cut in, I'd rather be out there running around than sitting on the pine. The Bulldogs, here they go again. This big switch that they just so love to do. Plant. And they keep coming. Oh, some good running there from the water carrier for the Eagles. And Robbie on the right boot drives forward, but a good mark taken by Truan. Truan's kick goes to Rawlinson now cleans up. Plenty of intensity by the Bulldogs. They certainly aren't taking this one lightly. They're screaming at the top of their lungs. McAllister now through the middle. So they've gone one way, they've gone back the other way. Now just trying to find a way in. Parmenter, his kick's good. Found McAllister again. And now they go inside 50, looking Kefalis. Truan did well there to just get his body in front. And he's pulled the mark in. Just had that extra step. That's what they need in their back line, the Eagles. Just someone who can swoop across and cut off the extra man. Fender now for the Eagles. This is Lachlan Cox. I've just remembered exactly what his actual name is, number 36. Another one of the under-18s playing Premier Divisions this year. Snedden. I've liked his game so far, been one of the lights for the Eagles. Good shrug of the tackle there from Wharton. And they drive it long again. Battistella the option. He was just swamped by Bulldogs players. And here's the big switch. Nothing to do with changing electricity companies. It's all about the Bulldogs and the way they move the ball. Oh, Rawlinson, the big show, gets rid of Fitton. Goes down the line, and another great hit to McAnaspy. I'm going to struggle with that one every night, all time. I'm struggling talking just in general at the moment. Mason with the ball. Help me out here, Drury.
Well, they've got a few options here, the Bulldogs. Having said that, the Eagles have gotten back, so they're going to bomb it into the forward 50.
Oh, nice little touch there. Could have been a push out. The umpires didn't see it, and that's a big scoop. And the free kick will be against Alex Foote. Tried to disguise it with the umpire on the other side of the contest, but hands don't move that quickly.
You're spot on though, Craig. I mean, as soon as the Bulldogs have the ball coming out of their back 50, massive switch is on. They all swarm and flock together, outrun the Eagles, and all of a sudden they got numbers and space to work with.
Cox now hands it up. And the kick, well, it was an ugly kick off the boot, but finds Drinkwater and he gives the big show, goes inside, wants to put it out in front, looking for, is that Crow up there? It's pushed forward. Battistella's there for the Eagles as well, but the Bulldogs have done well. McAllister gets the ball out to Keel. Keel, nice little show, gets around his opponent. Now finds, there was Canisby, just getting there slowly. Keel couldn't bring that one in, goes over the top. Now through Fidden, the captain of the Eagles, goes backwards. Under pressure now is Scholes. And finds Loxton. But they haven't travelled too far, the Eagles. Oh, good mark. Nick Crow there was the target. He did very, very well amongst a number of Bulldogs players. And a boundary throw is probably a good result for the Eagles.
It looks like, is that Seebeck playing full back now for the Eagles, Craig?
Just looks like he's going back there, maybe resting Ruckman across half back. They sort of need to do that. They need to stem the flow a little bit, the Eagles. The margin's 49 points. And only kicked the 2 goals.
Well, I guess when you're the chairman, Craig, you can do that.
Just call the shots as you see them. And another ruck contest here. Sneddon gets there in time. Rodriguez, though, sharks it out off the ruck contest. Kafalis goes backwards. They've worked this well. Their stats around the stoppages has been fantastic. Rawlinson now. Keel inside, looking for Jeremy Keel, but nice fist in there by, let's see who that is. Maybe Davis back there for the Eagles. Approaching 26 minutes of the second quarter. Margin's 49 points. The Bulldogs have been very good in the first half. Kafalis now lurking on his own. Fitton will have to pick him up. Look at him just lurking off the back of the pack here. He will hurt you if he gets it in his hands. Scholes out of the back line. Finds Baker for the Eagles. Tries to milk the 50. Not coming. Trent Baker down the line. Just trickles out for a boundary throw in.
Well, they'd love a bit of a consolation goal going to the break, Eagles. I just need something to boost their spirits. Even having a look at the 2 benches at the moment, the Bulldogs, they're running around, keeping warm, whilst the Eagles, well, they're just sitting there watching the game at the moment. So they probably just need something or someone to give them some sort of boost heading into half-time.
You're right. There's been some sort of flashes of individual brilliance out there, but nothing really on show by the Eagles. And as we go into the half-time break, it's the Bulldogs who have had all the advantage in this first half. 49 points is the margin. The Eagles have kicked 2-1-13. They kicked the first goal in both quarters, but since then it's been all Bulldogs. They've kicked 9-8-62, and they're threatening to really rip this game open. So we go into the main break. The margin's 49 points, and we'll take a short break, but join us back here in about 20 minutes' time. We'll have all the action from the second half here at the AFL Sydney Match of the Week. It's round 6, Eagles versus Bulldogs.
There's something in the hood away. Order over, mate. Come on, hurry up. Do you want me to confirm that's locked on Cox, or are you 100%? Giants actually got up. They did. Goals wise, that is.
Yeah.
You're another one after you. So there's been what, 3 or 4 today? 5. Same Eagles have lost 4 so far. So what does your work with the Giants entail? You've been with them since day one? Fantastic, must be loving that.
7 days a week.
You watch a lot of football, that's for sure. So I take it you're a Giants fan then? It certainly looks like a supporter.
Oh, it's a work for essentially.
You know a lot of guys there personally, can't help but support them.
This is the last of the coaching.
So almost set here for the third quarter at Bruce Purser Reserve. It's been all Bulldogs so far. They lead by 49 points going into the third quarter. It's a bit of body language there from the Eagles. They huddled around. See what they can do to try and get themselves back in this game. It's been all Bulldogs. They've been dominant on the scoreboard. They've been dominant around the ground. So, Drew, what do you think the Eagles can do to get themselves back into this game?
Well, unfortunately for them, the breeze has actually picked up again, and we could see the Bulldogs with some sort of an advantage here in the third quarter. But I think, Craig, it's more of a mental thing at this stage. Apart from the basics that they're not doing footy-wise in terms of running as hard as the Bulldogs, I think they've just got to keep believing, keep their heads up, and treat this as a completely new game this second half.
Seabeck up against Widmer in the middle. Good work there. Collett just spins out of the tackle, drives them forward inside 50. Can they get the first on the board? Cox trying to sweep up there, but he's wrapped up very well in a tackle. And the ball's still moving. The umpire will have to throw this into the deck now. As we said, the Eagles scored the first 2 goals of both the first and second quarter. Unfortunately, that's been the only 2 goals they've scored for the evening. Seabeck up against Mason, and it falls beautifully there. And nicely read there by Williamson from the Bulldogs, and they do get the first on the board, and they're away. So Williamson, he gets his second for the evening. And the 10th goal up for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, not the best start for the Eagles, but just to elaborate, Craig, on our conversation earlier, they certainly need some more run this second half of football, and a bit more urgency, and accountability as well. They need to play a lot tighter and play a lot more urgent.
Yes, it's been a very different side in the Eagles' colours since the 3-peat of premierships in 09, 10 and 11. And obviously aligns quite heavily with their push up into the NEFL competition. And this is a very different side running out in the blue and yellow. But to take nothing away from the Bulldogs at this stage, they're totally dominant so far. Good hands there from Cox, goes to Scholes, who kicks down the line looking for Physic. He's found himself forward of the centre line for a very rare occasion. Going back inside was Fender. The kick, a little errant, but in the direction of Stevens and Battistella. Snedden there as well, but here go the Bulldogs with their big switch. Coming across, Fender now needs to get in this contest, does so well. And they've swooped up the Bulldogs now through Plant. Now looking to switch back the other way, and the kick needs to be on line. Snedden nearly got his mitts to it. Good work there from Battistella. He can go back now, and he's hit the post. So, chance gone begging. Seem to be a little bit more aware of the switch, the Eagles, on that occasion. Just chopping off the kicks across goal. And here in the mics now, the wind starting to pick up quite a bit in the hands of Heath. Goes long. Seabeck there. Won't have the pace to run with Joel Robbie. But good work there from Davis. It'll be a boundary throw in. Widmer gets to the contest. Works his way to the front of the pack. Good work. Bulldogs dispossess Parmenter. He was wrapped up in the tackle, and now they're away. Fitton, but a good tackle applied there from McKinlay. Now they're wrapped up again, so bit of a stalemate. Seabeck wins this ruck contest, but the boundary wins out. A boundary throw in. It's almost someone's pressed the winter button tonight. It's quite chilly out here at Bruce Purser Reserve.
Well, I think the winter button keeps getting pressed in the first and third quarters, Craig. When the Bulldogs are running from right to left of screen, the wind seems to pick up and favour them a little bit more than it did for the Eagles in the second.
Volley of handballs there. Arndt was unable to keep the ball in. It trickles over the boundary line. As you said, the surface here at Bruce Purser Reserve looking fantastic this part of the season. Regan in there for the Eagles. Wrapped up in a tackle there was Wharton, and the Bulldogs are on the charge. Inside 50 looking for Keel. Hasn't really been as damaging as he could be so far in this game, Jeremy Keel. Ball trickles out by McAnaspy.
once again, not a single player in the Eagles forward 50, Craig. So already we're seeing all the Bulldogs, all the players really moving up towards the Bulldogs' end of goal.
So damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. I mean, they need to stem the scoring flow at one end of the ground, but at the same time, can't win games of football in your back half. Still need to have that scoring option forward, but I think they've got to get the first part of the equation right first. Now in the hands of Scholes. He's been handy for them in the back line tonight. Up there, Physic was the target, but it's the Bulldogs who just have the numbers. And here they go again, swooping across. Kick not a good one, lands in the hands of Fender for the Eagles. They want to move it wide, looking for Fidden. The bounce didn't favour him well, but he was good to get onto it. Loxton, now back to Fidden. They've worked well, the hands across. Loxton gets it back. And inside 50 they go. Plenty of Bulldogs jumpers around this one, and quite easily wrapped up by Henderson for the University team. The switch once again tried to work it out, but the Eagles have put a little bit of pressure onto this. Drinkwater's out there, but it was good work by Joel Robbie, and now they're away. The Bulldogs inside 50, it's 1-on-2. There's a player down in back play. Didn't see what happened there. Nothing untoward, it looks like. He just lost his footing, did Jeremy Keel. And a boundary throw in.
Now it looks like we've got some sort of a free kick here, Craig.
I think it was just blow time on.
Blow time on, there we go.
Blew time off, waiting for the... that's a free kick there, though. He took the ball out of the ruck and didn't dispose of it properly. And...
Going to Seabeck, I think.
Well, it should go to Mason. I don't know why this is going to somebody else. It should have been... The closest player was the bloke standing next to him with his arms linked, I would have thought. But somehow... They've got the ball in the hands of Mitch Soames, and he'll have a shot on goal. Soames' kick is a good one, and it's the 11th goal on the board. And Soames, well, he gets his first for the evening. Takes the individual goal scorers up to 8 for the Bulldogs.
As we see a three-man interchange made from the Bulldogs, Richard, Troon, Alex Foote, and also... Parmenter coming back on the ground for them.
Well, they would have come into this game expecting to come away with the 4 points, so it's good to see they're still rotating their players through, giving plenty of work through the legs. As we said, they've only dropped the one game so far this season. That was against North Shore, one of the other premiership contenders for 2013. It was in round 4. They went down to the Bombers by 46 points. In the middle, Parmenter swoops on the ball as he does. Now in front of Soames, the goal kicker. Inside 50 and a good mark from Keel. Probably on the limit of his distance, and a difficult pocket to score goals from traditionally here at Bruce Purser Reserve. But he likes his chances, does Jeremy Keel. Comes in now. Distance won't be an issue. Just pulls it to the right. The minor score to Keel. 11-9 now, the Bulldogs. Very different score to the one that's shown on the scoreboard here, but in all honesty, I don't think the minor details are going to be the issue tonight. Scholes. Happy to go backwards, goes back to Seabeck, makes him do a little bit of work. Chairman won't be happy with that. And kick out is a good one. Found Cox, and now there'll be a 50-metre penalty. Just tried to put the hand in there and roof the ball out.
Well, they kick it quickly. They have got a player in the goal square, and I think it's Rylance, is it?
Yeah, unfortunately, he's about 150 metres away, so... And the ball comes in now. Snedden the target. Oh, Mitch Stevens just went for the ride. Didn't really have any hands up ready for the mark, but Now they come across. Rylance. It is in there. He goes back looking for Baker. He's held up well. Oh, that's a high tackle from Drinkwater. And will allow Rawlinson to put them back in defence. This is fantastic running here from 31 in McAnaspey for the Bulldogs. He did some real tough gut running to get to that contest. The kick didn't favour him. Now it's with Troon. Short kick inside 50, too short. Goes through all the pack. There's Seebeck playing in that defensive ruckman role. And wants to go the other way. Finds Crow. Crows goes over to Loxton. Loxton goes back to Seebeck. So not really getting any advantage going forward at the moment. Mark, the target there was Truan, but he decided not to go up to the contest, and ball fell in his direction. And it's now out of bounds right in front of the Bulldogs bench.
Yeah, great hustling there from your favourite player today, Craig McAnaspey. And even when it's 2-on-2 or 3-on-3, the Bulldogs, they just seem to get those possessions. If they don't, as we saw there, they push it out of bounds.
Ball came in low trajectory as Jury Forbes starts to throw papers all over the ground.
I think the Eagles fans might be doing that in a second, Craig.
Just work out if it's an important piece. Player down at the moment. We'll see who it is. The free kick is going to go to Baker.
Been impressed with young Adam Fender, Craig. He's found himself a few occasions in some space with some opportunities going forward in this third quarter. So hopefully they can get him involved a bit more.
Rylance it was who had the free kick, but he hands off to Baker and they go forward. Plenty of white jumpers around this. Good tackle there applied by Regan. Pushes him back. Now in there is Fender, your man. Goes down the line. And this will be a boundary throw in. So we've gone from bench to bench. It's now a boundary throw in front of the Eagles bench here at Bruce Purser Reserve.
Another player the Eagles would love to get more involved. Just about to come back on, Josh Battistella. They certainly need something from him. He's been dynamic in stages as he runs on towards the contest.
And a free kick here, it'll go to the Bulldogs. A little bit about it. And then the Frank Kolosic doesn't stand for any of that sort of stuff. Not exactly sure what the free kick's for, but he's going to give 50 anyway. It's not a big one at times, Drury, for signals. He tends to use the verbal communication. Unfortunately, it doesn't come up so well on TV. Kick inside, just over the fingertips of Seebeck. Mason back onto it for the Bulldogs. Can't find the handle. Now he's got it. Handball's over. Looks for Keel. Keel now back onto McAllister. His kick inside is chopped off. And we'll have a boundary throw in. So the Bulldogs need to be aware of that with Seebeck. He's just positioned himself a kick behind play. Can't just bomb in long. We're doing that in the first half, and most of the time it was fell in advantage. This one now, Mason puts it down in front of Soames. And the kick comes out, but only goes as far as Rodriguez. Too far out to score. And a good lead there. The kick was on target, but just through the hands. And Seebeck mops up again. Comes down the line looking for Fender. He did well to hold feet. This is good. Needs to find it now. Can't get it up. Sneddon tries to even kick it up into his hands, but the Bulldogs have made them pay. Now, through McAnaspey. Getting it right now. Inside, looking for Keel. Loxton over the ball. And just can't seem to find it. Baker looking for the free kick there, not forthcoming. Comes back out to Parmenter. He's got plenty of time to weigh up his options and tries to find Soames there. Just chopped it off. May not have been intended for him. And coming away now are the Eagles. Crow tries the big handball over and it comes off on this occasion. Not much forward for the Eagles. Mitch Stevens there. Couldn't bring it in. Could have been holding the man there for James Regan. Wasn't coming. Now it's with Fidden. The handball chopped off well. Good work there from Thomas Heath.
Gee, Mitch Stevens is all by himself, about 20 metres forward to play if they can get it to him.
Just need some clean football at the moment. They're under pressure with their handballs, and now they've turned it over. Rawlinson, I've liked his game today. He goes in through the middle, finds Keel, starting to come to the fore. Back to Rawlinson. Got another option. Now they run. Just weighing up the options going forward. We kick to a contest, and Scholes, who's been good in the back line for the Eagles, gets it clear. Now Loxton couldn't get it out of the area. Keel over the footy. Ducked over the ball, so the umpire said no high contact. And this is wrapped up now. And we'll have a ball up inside 50 for the Bulldogs. They lead by 61 points. We've played 15 and a half minutes of this third quarter. Another one wrapped up in the tackle there is Mitchell Davis for the Eagles.
Henry Mason just cramping up there in back play, but it looks like he's okay to take his spot in the ruck contest.
He brings it down. He's going up against Cox.
Tapped it down to Troon. Here's Williamson.
The kick inside. He's offline, out of bounds on the full, and Seabeck will have the kick. I want to switch. Scholes was the target. He now goes straight. Truan. Now to Baker. They've looked good in patches, the Eagles, but there's just a turnover that appears, and the Bulldogs are making him pay. Kafala's been quiet this quarter so far, but this is a good kick. And target was right on line, and the Bulldogs will have another shot on goal.
Yeah, you're right, Craig. They have looked good in patches there. It just seems to be that very last kick, you know, the polish, the execution at the end at the moment, which is the difference, particularly in this third quarter. And the Eagles are creating a few opportunities.
Williamson with the shot on goal. Umpire's done a little bit of work, but the Breezers brought it back, so it's another one on the board for the Bulldogs. They go out to 67-point margin. They kicked their 12th, and it was off the boot of Tom Williamson. He's got 3. 17 minutes played in this third quarter here at Bruce Purser Reserve. It's round 6 of the AFL Sydney. And so far, it's all Bulldogs. Widmer in the ruck now against Sneddon. Low bounce from the umpire, falls in the hands of Baker. Couldn't get it onto the boot. Now Kafalis just picks it up and runs. Just does it himself, does Peter Kafalis. Goes forward, and good read there from Robbie. Just couldn't bring the ball in. Hands over from Troon. They've looked good when they've gone on the attack, the Bulldogs, and here they go again. Keel, Ed Keel now with the ball. Too far out to score, wants to play on, does so now. Top of the square's the option. Seabeck there, planted for the Eagles. Couldn't bring it in. Jeremy Keel did well at the back. Now Rawlinson wants to go back on the left boot. Can he bring it around? The umpire just watches it go through for a behind. 12-10 now, the Bulldogs.
Oh, an opportunity here for the Eagles to do something.
8 individual goal scorers for the Bulldogs so far. This one from Seabeck to Fitton. Both are in possession of a Sydney AFL Premiership medallion from years gone by.
It's great talk from the Bulldogs, just talking to each other constantly. You can hear it from the sideline here, Craig. Their talk has been excellent tonight.
Good work from Thomas Heath. Kafalis was good with his hands, gave it to McKinlay. They drive it inside and couldn't pull the mark in there was Cox, but he was manhandled by Rawlinson on the way down, and the free kick ensued. He goes short, finds Drinkwater. Drinkwater looks for Sneddon. Here's his target. Widmer tries to plant the big feet and the big body behind him, and affects the spoil. As you said, Drew, there's plenty of talk around the ball. Dispossessed by Fitton. It's on here now. It's Keel and Physic, sorry. And Physic just wants to get away with it, and he almost drags Keel with him coming off the deck. In the meantime, the Bulldogs have done the big switch and have pushed it forward to Jeremy Keel, who will get a second chance at kicking a goal from this tight angle far out on Bruce Purser reserve.
Well, if he goes long here, Craig, he's got Henry Mason deep, although it looks like he is going to take a shot here right on the boundary line.
Jeremy Keel yet to score a goal this game. He'd be willing to put this one through, being the 9th individual goal scorer. Goes right to the line and goes straight over the umpire's hat, so he's got it from that individual angle there. It was almost impossible for Keel, but he's got the goal on the board, and that's the 13th for the Bulldogs, and his first. It was a good kick. The breeze has almost dissipated entirely now. He becomes their 9th individual goal scorer. And it's hard to see where the goals are going to come for the Eagles.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate, Craig, but the Eagles, a lot of the players dropping their heads, and it's just a massive difference at the moment in confidence.
In a long season so far, only into round 6. Just lacking a bit of the experienced cattle that they've had in years gone by. Rawlinson just working on a different level at the moment. Seabeck mopping up. Oh, just puts on the big pace and the big step and gets away with it. Jeremy Keel won't be happy with that. Nick Crowe now through the middle. They've looked good on this passage of play. Moving the ball quickly. Oh, and a good grab there from Stevens.
Great grab.
Just stuck in the midst. Bulldogs players are arguing the fact, and
50.
To the point that it'll be a certain goal to Mitch Stevens now. Can't talk like that to the umpires, and Mitch Stevens will put it through. And the 3rd goal on the board for the Bulldogs. Margin 68 points.
Yeah, that was better from the Eagles. Their kicks hitting their targets on that occasion. I do like the move of Battistella moving into the midfield. I think it gives them a bit more X factor in there, and hopefully they can get a few clearances for the Eagles' sakes, for the home crowd, and get a few more goals. I think Stevens up there is certainly getting into some space. They've just got to get him the ball.
Yeah, I like the idea of just making sure that at least there's somebody at home, because they have moved the ball at times quite well through the middle of the ground. Of course, the Bulldogs all full of run, especially moving forward and coming out of the middle. So if they can hurt them on the rebound, but they need to make sure somebody's back at home. Here they go again. Soames, those definitive red boots that he's wearing tonight. Rawlinson, he's been fantastic for the Bulldogs. Goes outside to Nichols, and the kick inside 50 looking for Keel. Comes back again. Turn it over here now, and it has ended up in the hands of Crowe. Looking for Baker. Couldn't bring it in. Oh, how's the running from Crowe? Backed up. He's almost there before the ball arrived, and he's pushed them forward again. Now just nearly got the tackle there. Physics in there for the Eagles, but the Bulldogs have got the weight of numbers. Good tackle from Stevens. Affected the turnover. Now can they get inside? Just there was Wharton. Tries to get it forward. The ball was touched over the line. And minor score. They go to 3-3 now, the Eagles.
And Parmenter plays on quickly. They're away again here, Craig.
Henderson. They've got numbers on the near wing. Rodriguez. He goes back inside. Finds Rawlinson. Plenty of run from the Bulldogs. They're a fit unit. The University of New South Wales Eastern Suburbs. In the arms of Troon. Going forward, looking for Keel on this near side now. And swooping up Fitton. Disguised that well. Just walked it over the boundary line, but turned inside just to make it look like he wasn't walking it over.
Well, there's the difference between the two sides tonight. I mean, you see there the Bulldogs, quick play on from Parmenter from the behind, and within 30 to 45 seconds, they're on the opposition 50 metres. Whereas the Eagles, they're taking their time and they're turning it over in the middle of the ground far too often for my liking.
Good handball over, finds Troon, goes forward again, and it's good work there from Thomas, I think it is, for the Eagles to work Jeremy Keel under the ball. Didn't give him a chance to pull it in. So it's one-on-one contests around the ground. You can just see Parmenter here on the near side. They won't want to just rush this kick out of defence, the Eagles, because it'll come back with interest. But anyway, Rawlinson sneaks it off the pack, but couldn't get the bounce he wanted. 13-11 now, the Bulldogs. 25 minutes played. Can't be long to go in the quarter. Kick out to Seabeck. Just tracks it back, waiting for it to pop up. The kick now puts his teammate in Sneddon under pressure. It was 3-on-1. Defender that'll be holding the ball. Didn't make connection with the hand. And the front colours issues are all over that one. And it'll be Pascoe to
Henry Mason's on in the middle. Henry Mason, Craig.
Truer needs to turn around and read it back. And he did very well just to back in at the last second. Could have been in the back there to Mason. And Scholes goes at it hard against Rawlinson. Rawlinson steps up in the tackle. And the umpire says, I'll have it. I would have thought the ball was still in movement there, but wanted to sort it out. Oh, Mason just throwing his weight around. Stevens in there, I think it was. In fact, no, it was Spencer for the Eagles trying to barge his way. Rawlinson gets another stat. He'd have 30 at least. Now with Nichols. Goes inside. And the siren sounds for three-quarter time. And just as the Bulldogs were... In fact, they did get the free kick there. So the ball not dead quite yet. The free kick will go to Troon. It's for another tunnelling, I think, effort from the Eagles. And Richard Troon will have a shot on goal after the siren. Margin 68 points at the moment. Like this, you watch the boys get up if he puts it through the middle of it. Look, he's just shanked it left and hit the very top of the post. So just the minus score. The margin 69 points. They've kicked 13, 12, 90. The Bulldogs. The Eagles, well, they've kicked 1 1/4 so far. They've got 3 goals, 3. And as we said, the margin's 69 points, and it's going to be interesting to see what the Bulldogs can do in the final quarter to bring this one home. 13-12, 90, the Bulldogs, 3-3, the Eagles. Join us here back in a couple of minutes' time for all the action from the final quarter of the AFL Sydney Match of the Week.
Too early, or is no short period best Bulldogs.
Set for the final quarter here at Bruce Purser Reserve. The margin's 69 points in favour of the Bulldogs, and they've dominated this game and had it well in control right from the start, and they'll be looking to increase their margin in this final quarter and make sure they give themselves the best opportunity when it comes to finals time to have, if needed, a good percentage in the bank. So the Eagles, on the other hand, they'll be here looking to stem the flow and maybe get a few more on the board themselves. Final quarter, just about underway. Good bounce from the umpire. They've been good in the centre so far, the umpires. Battistella, man, you like Jury in the middle there, hits the ball hard, drives them forward. Baker throws on the boot indiscriminately. Doesn't get the bounce he was looking for. Only the minor score, 3-4 now to the Eagles.
Well, Seabeck's had enough, the chairman. He said, that's it, I'm going back in the ruck. As we mentioned, Battistella's in the midfield now, and this could potentially translate to a few more clearances for the Eagles.
And in saying that, after he's done the ruck contest, Seabeck's floated back. There's now the extra player behind the ball. So, Parmenter with the ball for the Bulldogs. Goes inside 50. And could have been a free kick against Drinkwater. Keel appealing for it. That could have been a free kick as well. Seems the umpires want to let him play at the moment. Truan lurking. Mason with a big fist. The handoff goes back to Keel. Keel wants to put it on the boot. Mason gets it back. Gets it across. Now with... was that
Troon.
in there? Was Troon. And they might have just done a little bit too much with it, the Bulldogs. And it's now in the hands of Wharton for the Eagles.
And Fender's got some space out here if he can get it.
Good running there from Foot for the Bulldogs. Did well to back onto the ball, and now it's in the hands of Collett. Too far out to score, you'd think, for Collett. Looks for a target. Got one on the run, but Truan read it better, and they relieve a bit of pressure. Baker with the ball for the Eagles. Finds Fender. And now it's in the hands of Physic. Just weighed up an option going sideways, but thought better of it. Now goes along the way that they were coming.
Will we see a switch here, Craig?
Well, it's been so handy for them all night. Fitton did well there to chop that one off. It was headed for Kafalis. But just trickles over the boundary line.
I can tell you Battistella was quick to race up the ground then and go straight to a couple of Bulldogs players. Probably prevented the switch on that occasion.
Yeah, the sort of things the Eagles need to do, as we've mentioned a number of times, it's a developing side, the Eagles. They're very young. Just hear the Division 3, I think it is, boys in the background, maybe Division 1, just warming up. There's not a tribe of henchmen on their way up the hill to cause some trouble. Fitton hits the ball hard. He's wrapped up. It's a good tackle there from Thomas Heath. Umpire will make a decision that he made no attempt to get rid of the footy. So Heath applied a good tackle. Rawlinson, he'd be well into the 30s with his touches tonight. Troon swings around. Kafalis back into the hands of Rawlinson. Just couldn't bring it in. And it'll be a boundary throw-in. Much of the football tonight being played on the far side of the ground. Plenty of numbers in the forward line for the Bulldogs. So a good opportunity if they just wanted to get this ball in. They've got the numbers around. An extra one back there for the Eagles, but they've been so damaging when they get the ball forward. And here's that kick now, but well read. That's Thomas. Finds Baker. Just brings it in. The umpire says no, you've fumbled it over the line, so it'll be a boundary throw-in. 4 minutes played. Margin 68 points here at Bruce Purser Reserve. Rodriguez up against Snedden. And McAllister goes backwards. Not employing the switch as much as they were in the first half. Happy to sort of go direct now, and as does Kafalis on this occasion. Through the hands of Plant. They've worked it well, the Bulldogs. Just putting it forward, but there's Seabeck. Oh, made a meal of it, but luckily the ball was offline. I wouldn't want that being going through the middle of the goals and bounce over Seabeck's head.
Well, it was a mongrel of a kick, and fortunately for old Seabeck there, he was almost wrong-footed, just managed to get a fingertip to it.
Seabeck up against Mason. Seabeck with a big fist from behind. Almost flies in hands there of Troon, and in fact it does. But his kick is offline. 13-13. Not the greatest score combination you'd want if you're a superstitious person. Baker finds Wharton. He does well. Impressed with parts of his game tonight. Wharton. Here he is again. Just wants to bundle his way through the contest. Umpire should ball this up. Just showed a little bit has Ben Wharton. And one of the young brigade coming through this Premier Division side. All bodes well for them for depth, pushing forward and through the needful years. Well, that's the best spot in the ground at the moment, I think. Would you think, Jury, up there in the coaches' boxes? Doors closed.
Absolutely, Craig. Certainly a lot warmer in there than up here on this scaffolding, that's for sure.
Picture gets a little bit wavy. It's not the scaffolding, it just might be the shivering from the two blokes standing on top of it. Frank Kolosic now throws it in the air. Sneddon against Rodriguez, comes down to Fitton. Throws the ball indiscriminately on the hands. Now Battistella wants to go to Davis. Tight quarters now. Stevens couldn't get it first touch and eventually was given a free kick for too high contact. And should go back and drive them long. Wharton, good kick to Physic. He's taken the mark inside 50. That's very rare for Tim Physic.
And a very fortuitous call there for the mark, but the Eagles will take that.
Oh, it's a backman's mark. The defender, he doesn't want to have a shot. Goes to Stevens, not 15, so he has to play on quickly. The long kick inside is offline. Another minus score, 3-5-23. The Eagles, 13-13-91, margin of 68 points. We've played 7.5 minutes. Final quarter here at Bruce Purser Reserve.
And another three-man substitution from the Bulldogs happening at the moment. The coaching staff certainly a big fan of the three-man interchange as we see the kick in, and he goes short there.
It seems to be their ruckman and two followers that come off. They throw another ruckman and another two followers on, so really rotating the numbers through the midfield are the Bulldogs. Heath with a big sweeping handball. Goes to Nichols. He's almost wrapped up in a tackle, put himself under a bit of pressure. Back on it there is Crow. Turns and looks down the line. The kick goes over the head, finds Stevens. Handball inside to the shoelaces, not where you want to have the handball. Now with Rylance. Physics pushed forward and gave away the free kick, but he wasn't really in the contest. And here's the trademark switch. Although this time they once again want to go through the middle. They do so now. Good work, Davis from the Eagles. And he picks up his own crumbs with a good fist on the footy. And they drive it long. This could be Sneddon. Bounced beautifully for him, and Sneddon's kicked the goal. Just the perfect bounce. It's set up nicely for him. And Alex Sneddon has put another one on the board, and that's his second. The only multiple goal scorer for the Eagles, and they go to 4-5-29. The margin, 62 points. And
they're in front for the quarter, Craig. A great response there from the Eagles, and that goes to show it does always pay to have a forward deep at all times. A great bounce and good body work there from Sneddon, and good reaction to put it straight in the boot and kick it through for the first goal of the fourth quarter.
So they've kicked the first of the second. Didn't quite get the first goal in the third quarter, but they got the first goal in the final quarter. The Eagles. Just not enough tonight. Sneddon's kicked two, Stevens kicked one, and Battistella kicked one. On the other side of the ledger, it's Williamson leading the scorers with 3 to his name. 9.5 minutes played in the centre. Seebeck up against Widmar. And Rawlinson attacking the football as he's done all afternoon, evening. Working back on it, Loxton's wrapped up by Kefalis. And no prior opportunity there, so we'll have a ball up. Inside 50 for the Bulldogs. They'd be keen for the quick response. Oh, Seebeck, you tap it, I'll grab it. And away we go. Rawlinson puts his head over the ball. Could have been a free kick. Wasn't forthcoming. They've pushed it backwards now. Mason inside. Finds Nichols. He's got an open goal. Runs in. The kick's a low one and it's offline. And just the minor score. So 13-14 now, the Bulldogs.
He'd be disappointed with that young Hayden Nichols there. He had a lot of time and he had a great opportunity to line it up and just shanked the kick at the last moment.
Seebeck to Baker to Seebeck to Loxton. One of the players come back to the club in 2013. Featured in their a number of their reserve grade premierships back in the mid-2000s. Battistella now. Could have been in the back, and he is. Nichols will have opportunity. In fact, it's against Nichols. I'm not sure what that signal was from the umpire. And now it's with Baker. He goes long, looking for Snedden. It's over his head. Stevens is there for the Eagles, but sweeping and cleaning up are the Bulldogs with Plant. He's happy to go across goal.
Watch Kefalis get involved here, Craig.
Thomas Heath has pushed it back. Plant ran on, created an option, and now he goes looking long and finds Williamson. Williamson with 3 to his name tonight. Playing up the ground. Good kick. Handball from Robbie was a good one. There's slick movement of the football. They've gone inside now. Try to turn back on it. Did Mason, but just wasn't there. And Seebeck in that defensive role. He's picked up 3 or 4 handballs to his name just in this passage alone. So the stats guy looking for the pencil sharpener on that occasion. Boundary throw in, 12 minutes played in this final quarter. It's all over bar the acceptances now. The Bulldogs will get the 4 points. We expected them that they'd be coming out in this final quarter and really trying to pile it on, but the Eagles have done well to stem the scoring. And Wheeling in there at the moment. It's wrapped up in the tackle. It's Fitton. You know it when you get tackled by him. And there was Mason. In fact, it was Rawlinson, at the bottom of the pack. Widmar now puts it down to Kefalis, as easy as you like. Spins back on the left. They've run and they've broken well. It's now with Keel. Goes inside and the kick's a good one. Found Parmenter. And Parmenter's shot on goal. Kicked 2 for the evening, Josh Parmenter. This will be his 3rd. Just in case you needed an update on how maths worked. Parmenter kicks under the ball. I don't think it's got the legs, and Seebeck there. Well, it's too easy, but that's the easiest goal you'll ever get. Williamson's got his 4th. Tried to be too handy, too precious with the kick, did Seebeck, and just gifted that one to Williamson. He's got his 4th on the board, 14 goals for the Bulldogs, and the margin back to what it was at 3/4 time in 69 points.
Well, it's a shame, Craig, because the Eagles, I think they've definitely improved this last quarter. I think they're certainly shutting down the Bulldogs and being more accountable a lot better than they have been in this match. So let off there, and let's hope they don't drop their heads from one brain explosion, really, from Seebeck. But no, they're definitely improving this quarter, the Eagles.
69 points the margin. It's probably a fair indication. They've been in control all night, the Bulldogs. But it'd be probably wouldn't be a great indication if the Bulldogs were able to pile 4 or 5 goals on now and really blow the margin out. The Eagles have been willing, just haven't got the cattle behind it. Can't fault their endeavour at the football. They've tackled hard, and when they've moved the ball via hands and run the ball, they've looked good. This will be a free kick to Kefalis. A couple of Eagles there just set on Peter Kefalis and tried to ride him into the ground. Battistella originally went for the spoil, then it worked out he could probably mark it and did so. So they come wide now looking for Rylance. Oh, just wants to be pretty and try and turn Thomas Heath back to front. And good work there from Spencer.
I'll tell you what, Spencer was certainly pretty, Craig. That was a bit of Torval and Dean there.
The reverse Lutz and got through the pack. Sneddon brings it down, but only to the advantage of the Bulldogs. And right under our position here now. They haven't dropped off the Bulldogs, which is probably a credit to the Eagles that they've been able to sort of stem a bit of their scoring in this final quarter. Oh, Trent Baker just wanted to put the battering ram on. It would have been a free kick. He was in no way going for the football. And the hands up. That's a good handball over to Keel. Just didn't hit the target quite, and he had to turn back on it. Now he gets it forward and lands fortuitously. And another shot on goal for Williamson. He'll be shooting on goal for his 5th, which is a good return for him.
That's certainly Woody. I've been impressed with Williamson today. He's been fantastic, as has the other Bulldogs player, and can't find his name. Richard Troon's been good as well.
Williamson's kick just offline, so he won't get his 5th on this occasion.
Troon, Williamson, they've all been fantastic. Parmentier, he's gone forward on the odd occasion as well. And I think the forwards of the Bulldogs today certainly done a fantastic job.
Yeah, they've certainly got some depth around the ground, the Bulldogs, and exactly what you'll need going into the pointy end of the season. Round 6, starting to see a real indication of who'll be expected to be there at the end of the year. Saw some results today coming through. Pennant Hills had a huge win over Illawarra. Pennant Hills kicked 36 goals, 22. Illawarra 6-5, so a 30 goal plus win to Pennant Hills today. And Manly continued their winning ways, accounting for Campbelltown. Manly kicked 10-7, Campbelltown 6-5, so in their first year in the competition, the Manly Warringah Wolves are certainly justifying their elevation, and they'll be there come finals time, which is a fantastic achievement by them. In the meantime, Kafalis now out, trying to find Troon. As you've said, been good tonight, but here's the tackling we've seen of the Eagles. They've been really good, just shutting down some of the run. And it's just these handballs, and it's just bounced perfectly there. And a great goal to McKinlay as he puts another one on the board for the Bulldogs. They just scrubbed it forward. The Eagles, as you can see there, 4 or 5 of them there, just out on their feet. They've tackled well, but Jack McKinlay, another goal scorer on the board for the Bulldogs.
They have certainly picked up their tackling this last quarter, the Eagles, but another thing that the Bulldogs have been tremendous with today is tackle bust. They've been able to bust a lot of tackles, hold the ball, evade a couple of defenders, having drawn them in, and then move the ball on. So they've certainly been very good at that, the Bulldogs, evading the tackles.
Yeah, it's one of the things I've heard Kevin Sheedy, the coach of the Giants, talk about in the tackling, is that he doesn't count a tackle if the ball comes free. You need to really pin the arms and keep the ball in the contest on. Here they go again, the Bulldogs. It could be floodgates right now. They push forward. Back there is Scholes. He's been very handy, and actually it's not Scholes, it's Drinkwater. Another player who's sort of been in and out of the game. Battistella lands in his lap. Comes out now to Davis. They clear it now, the Eagles. Right, the turnover, there's 3-on-1, but able to get the ball clear through Heath. Now with Nichols. His run through the middle. Found. It was Soames. Now look at this run. Comes back. Well, will eventually land in the hand of Soames, who's pushed through. Goes backwards to find Collett. Max Collett tries to get the big hoof going forward. He doesn't need it to go through the middle because the ball's landed in the arms there of Troon. There's a ugly, scrubbing-looking kick in. And Richard Troon just happened to be in the right place at the right time. And he'll go back and hopefully put his second on the board.
Yeah, just been great today, Richard Troon, at just finding space and giving them options as they move forward. And tremendous effort today from the Bulldogs forward, and certainly well-deserved at this goal. Should he kick it for Richard Troon?
Shouldn't miss, and doesn't. Troon gets his second. It's the 16th goal for the Bulldogs. The margin now out to 82 points.
It's important they finish well here, the Eagles. As we said, they kicked the first goal of the fourth quarter. It's important they finish well for their confidence heading into next week's game. The coach certainly wouldn't want to see a drop-off in these last 5 to 10 minutes.
"21 minutes played, final quarter, 16-15, 111, the Bulldogs. The Eagles only managing 4 goals, 5 so far, and here they go again. Collett, another scrubby-looking kick going inside. This time, Seabeck and Cox spoil each other, and just couldn't get it through the middle there. It would have been a nice little goal there to Williamson if he got it through. Seabeck, short to Loxton. Goes back to Scholes. Puts himself under a little bit of pressure. Truan. Oh, shows it one way, goes the other. I think it was Drinkwater. Now, Wharton does enough. Oh, the reverse suplex there on Loxton.
He's in trouble
Thomas
here.
Heath. It hurt. Just stopped him and pulled him down. And that'll bruise. And the tackle being paid too. So Thomas Heath, man with 2 first names, go inside looking for Keel and stuck. He's got good hands. Has Jeremy Keel. He's kicked one. We saw that on the other side of the ground from the impossible angle. It's for his second, and to really start building this margin. 83 points it is at the moment. Keel, right side for a right footer, and the umpire likes every moment of it, and he's got it through the middle. So Jeremy Keel gets his second, and the margin really starting to blow out now. 89 points, 17-16, 118 the Bulldogs, and well, starting to get very ugly for the Eagles.
And it doesn't get much better either with Kafalis about to come on for the Bulldogs. And it looks like he's in the mood to do something special here in these last 5 to 10 minutes, Craig.
He's had a good game, has Peter Kafalis. Enjoy your footy when you're winning. And that's exactly what the Bulldogs have been doing this year. They'll go to 5 wins and 1 loss. That being against North Shore, who have really showed some good signs so far this year as well. Physic puts his head over the ball. Rawlinson comes out with it. Parmenter throws it high and long. Seabeck lurking for this one. Tries to go the big fist, but stolen out of the air from Mason. And, well, it's just all one-way traffic at the moment. Henry Mason, kick 2. That's his third. 18 goals now to the Bulldogs. Really starting to pile the goals on now, Jury.
Yes, they're edging towards that 100-point margin, aren't they? And the coach should be very impressed with the fact that they're going to play this game out. The Bulldogs are going to play for the full 4 quarters and just maintain that intensity. Certainly some very encouraging signs. As we said, they've only lost the 1 game this season, the Bulldogs, and that was to North Shore. So certainly looking like a very good season for the Bulldogs in 2013.
Some great games coming up as we see some of these top 2 teams go against each other. North Shore up there, Bulldogs, and of course the Wolves, the Manly Warringah Wolves, who are really surprising everybody in their first year in the Premier Division. Now the Eagles. Stevens tries to pop it up, couldn't find any support, and this is the big switch that we've seen. They've re-employed it. Almost goes back for a rush behind, but just on the very last line. Now Parmenter, been good, goes to Widmar. Now the handball measured to Plant. Tries to go inside 50. Drinkwater. Truan now. Back to Drinkwater. He'll be tackled. That'll be holding the ball. And it is. Good intensity there from Jeremy Keel. They've done well, the Bulldogs. Bulldogs side without their superstar in Dane Rampy, of course, elevated onto a rookie list and then a senior list at the Sydney Swans. It's a great story. I think that was the siren. They need to push the button. There we go. Final siren here at Bruce Purser Reserve, and it's been all Bulldogs in this round 6 game. They dominated from the first get-go. In fact, the Eagles kicked the first goal, but since then it's been all one-way traffic. The final score here at Bruce Purser Reserve, 18 goals, 16, 124 to the Bulldogs. The Eagles 4-5-29. The margin was 95 points in the end, so they didn't crack that magical 100 mark, but it was a good result, and they'll be very happy with their efforts tonight, the Bulldogs. How did you see it, Drury?
Well, I think they'll just outrun today, the Eagles. You know, the Bulldogs, they played for 4 quarters. They were running hard. They were keeping their players fresh with the substitutions. And I think, unfortunately for the Eagles, they dropped their heads far too early in this contest. You know, I saw their heads drop at quarter time when the Bulldogs came running out of the gate. So I think they probably want to see mentally a stronger performance from the Eagles moving forwards and have a bit more belief rather than drop their heads too early. As for the Bulldogs, as I said, they ran hard, they busted tackles, they switched the ball. Tremendous effort, an outstanding effort really from the Bulldogs, and it looks like they're going to have a very successful season moving forwards.
The goal scorers for the Bulldogs, it was Williamson who led the goal scorers. He kicked 4 with 3 to Mason, and there was 2 to Keel, 2 to Troon, 2 to Parmenter, and singles to Kafalis, Collett, Soames and McKinlay. On the other side of the bench, Alex Sneddon kicked 2 for the Eagles, Mitch Stevens kicked 1 and Battistella with the other 1, but it wasn't enough in the wash-up. The Eagles went down tonight 4-5-29 to the Bulldogs 18-16, 124. Hope you've enjoyed this week's AFL Sydney Match of the Week. Make sure you tune in next week. We'll have more action from the AFL Sydney competition. My thanks to Drury Forbes, and my name's Craig Abercrombie. We'll see you very shortly on the AFL Sydney Match of the Week.